Hey guys, Tony here. So I did have a couple of people request NIO. I know that the last time I actually worked on NIO was back on July 30th. So I thought I'd talk about it a little bit more, just to kind of see what happened from the last time that I talked about it, and it looks like it did. It kind of went through that forecast that we talked about. So it did have a gap to fill around this area. It filled the gap. I guess the last time I actually looked at it was July 30th. It ran up to the upside. It did not cross over 47, and it just kept dropping. So I guess I was bearish on NIO last time, and I did have a trigger, and I did have another arrow push to the upside to see if it was actually gonna run, but I guess it decided to run to the downside, right? But I don't want to take too long with this video. Just because I already see a couple of things that I like and then I don't like. Immediately, you guys can see the gap right here at, what is it, from 39 to like $40. And you did actually start creating perfect candles, where you actually closed a daily candle under previous support of 39.75. So I think NIO for the most part is headed back down to 35.29. I doubt that it'll run up from here and actually close that gap before coming back down. You actually had a couple of bull triggers actually happened in the last couple of days. Since August 18th, you had to push up, push down, but it doesn't want to actually push to the upside. So I can't see this gap being closed strictly because it is on previous, well, now it's on resistance and it's above it, right? So I do think that if anything, it might come up here, retest 39.75 and shoot back down. But I think for the most part, I don't see NIO really, recovering and filling that gap anytime soon. I think what it might be able to do is something like this, possibly come back to this previous, well, now like resistance, and then come back down, to 35, which is the next support, or it can just come straight down here, right? It can just come straight down next week. So I really doubt that it's going to fill that gap just because there's no bullish momentum, and the bullish momentum that I did have from August 18th and August 20th, it just completely went down, right? So it had a bull push here, just one candle, and again here, super super small, that actually hammered to the downside with that wick being created up here, right? So I think as far as momentum, I don't think the gap's going to get filled. At least not soon, right? There's no momentum that tells me that it's going to get filled. So I think at most it might go to previous resistance here at 39.59, then drop, or just basically straight drop from here. The monthly chart is super super bearish. And the reason why I say that is it actually tried to break bull back in June, and then ended up closing. Like weak bear, right? So it ended up actually closing in favor of being bullish, but July and August, it seems like we're back in a bear cycle. And for the week of just right now, actually, just for the week chart, it just looks like we're going to be consistently going down. I can easily see NIO go all the way back down to 32.25, and keep in mind there's actually a big gap from $10 and like $9, so like a 50-cent gap back here, that was created back on the week of June 29th of last year. So keep in mind that there's still a gap that has to be created, but it looks like you still have pretty good momentum to the downside. If I had to guess, I'd say that NIO can easily hit $32 again. And if it does hit $32, and then the whole thing with China keeps running, and Alibaba keeps dropping, I can see NIO dropping to even $27.60 or so, just because that's going to be the next support. And even right now, it's dropping under the 50 MA, right? So for the weekly, it dropped under the 50. So it's a little bit worrisome because that's the very first time you've actually seen NIO drop under the 50, for a very long time. So the last time it actually dropped under the 50, it was probably somewhere over here. But the second time it dropped under the 50, and it just kind of trailed sideways for a little bit. But I want to see what happens in the next couple of days, weeks, to see how we actually close. Because I think for now, I'm pretty stable on having NIO basically do something like this the upcoming weeks. But I think ultimately I'm definitely bearish on NIO going down to 35, 36. I don't think that the gap is going to get filled. I think we're going down to $35, possibly down to $32 if momentum and sentiment on China is still bad. Because sentiment on China is not really good right now. But even then, I just everything right now is just is showing really really bad. Just a bad chart for NIO. Everything looks bearish right now. The daily looks like it might break to the upside soon. I mean, the last time we had a break towards the upside, we only ran a couple of points for 41 to 46. So you really only ran up about $5, which would be that same trigger here. So you can see this run down. You can see price at $35, and then you might go back up to $40, retest, and then drop back down. And if that does happen, I can see NIO on the daily creating a bull trigger right here, running up, and then creating another bear trigger on the daily while the stock is still oversold. And then I would actually be like, oh, you know what, it's time to buy puts, because I do think that it's going to push down hard at 32, because you guys know how much crypto and stocks, or generally any ticker, likes to really push hard down on the downside when we're already oversold in the stochastic, or underextended, right? Or over like whatever you guys want to call it, whatever you think about it, right? Ultimately, I'm extremely bearish on NIO. I doubt that it's going to recover. I doubt that it's going to fill that gap up there. And I think we go back to 39.75, retest that, drop back down, or we just drop straight to 35, $32. I'll see you guys later.